Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. We say the things on here that nobody dare say. And we're just waiting for Jerry to log on. He shouldn't be much longer. So here we go. Here's Jerry. Women love him, men want to be him, especially with that mullet.
You all right, Ross?
All right, mate?
You hear me okay? Yeah,
Yeah, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. Bit tired today. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm plodding on. I'm a plodder, me, Jerry.
You're a plodder. What we
You
up to today?
Not much, just messing about with Porky's Corner and a few bits and bobs at factory. Game of pool and that. Thrash Kevin 3-1.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah, what are we going to say now? Have you been watching football, Jerry?
You know what? I normally watch the Euros, and this is the first Euros I haven't watched in years. It's obviously getting quite exciting now because you've got England. Are they playing tomorrow night? England are playing tomorrow night,
Yeah.
and Spain and France tonight. So I might switch it on later on, maybe, and catch the highlights. What about yourself?
Yeah, do you know what, mate? I'm not really bothered whether they win or not. I don't like the manager, and it puts me off.
Yeah,
It puts me off the team. Do you know what? If half that team walked down the street, nobody'd know them anyway.
I know what you mean. It's not like some of the bigger, well-known teams of
Back
the
in the
past.
day when we had your Michael Owens, your Beckhams, your Gazzers, people like that, your Brian Robsons,
Yeah,
people had known when they walked down the street. We don't know who these are. They all look the same to me. But that manager's a prick. That Gareth Southgate. He's never won out as a manager. He's there because he's a company man. That's all. He's a nodding dog for FA.
yeah,
That's the bottom line. He's at his depth. Who have they really beat together in semi-finals here? We could end up fluking it by default. I mean, we're either going to get team at tournament. How we're playing, are we?
yeah. From what I've been hearing, I've heard the England squad haven't been playing amazingly well. So it does sound like there's been a bit of luck
Shy.
involved.
It's a game we invented with shite at.
I didn't say anything, right?
Well, all these diehards, semi-finals. Have you seen the state of how we're playing? We got him. We didn't get him through back door. We didn't even get him through cat flap. We got under door, like what rats do. So I look at it.
You made it to the final the last time, though.
Yeah, look what happened. Oh, we
It,
lost our arseholes. Arseholeless. £350,000 a week. No time for footballers anymore. It used to be all I cared about.
Were you a big football fan, Ross?
Yeah, massive football fan. I still am, but I don't. I don't look at them like I used to. You know,
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. Like obviously, if you've watched Porky's International YouTube channel, I've had Glenn Snowden on. I grew up with them sort of people. In an area. It was like for me, they were like icons, and they were
yeah,
approachable. Professional footballers. Yeah, they had XR3i convertibles, brand new and all that, page free birds and all that, but they were still approachable. You could speak to them in a nightclub or an ice cream van in the street. Billy Bremner used to pull up in his Nissan Silvia turbo. I'll never forget. I used to stick my head right in his car, mate. All right, Billy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I were a fat kid on the street with ball under arm, wasn't I? So what you doing, Billy? He said, I'm talking to you, son. You haven't got none of that now. Could you imagine Klopp pulling up in local area to visit a pal? Oh, yeah, what's he called? Jose Mourinho. You're not going to get that now, are you? They're not accessible, are they, like they were footballers? They're not the man in the street, are they no more?
Yeah. Do you not think the game changed though? I mean, whenever I used to follow football years and years ago, and then obviously I kind of got into different things. Like, but when I used to follow football, it was still the first division, and then it changed to the Premier Division, and it just seemed to be from the Premier Division started, football became more and more emphasis on money, money, and money, and just commercial side of it. And I think players gradually drifted away from being, ordinary guys who came from, could have come from your street to superstars who are untouchable, you know, not accessible, basically, like you're describing.
Yeah. Well, this is how I look at it, right? When I were a teenager, if you went around town centre, you get professional footballers in town centre. Everybody had a shirt and tie on it, and everybody'd be mingling together. They were like superstars, in area.
Yeah, yeah.
You go into Manchester and you might see them, and they're just behaving like prima donnas. They're not accessible. You can see them in restaurants or certain places in certain parts, Alderley Edge around them areas, but they're not. It's not like it works, you know what I mean? And for me, I just think they're all prima donnas. They're all multi-millionaires and they can't get them to win out for England. It's been going on for years, hasn't it?
Craziness.
1966, wasn't it, last time we won out?
It's funny you mentioned Brian Robson there. When I used to support Manchester United, and Brian Robson was my favorite player.
Yeah, well, I don't like Man United, but I want about proper England bloke, wanted Captain Marvel, wanted Robbo.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
any Captain Marvels in this team. Who's captain? Do we even know?
I couldn't tell you, mate. Could not tell you.
I don't even know, mate.
Oh, actually, is it Harry Kane? Maybe.
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
It looks like
As
he's
a
got
kid.
It looks like he's got a mask on him, doesn't he, Harry Kane?
His big nose.
He reminds me of Michael Myers.
The guy from the movies, Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, reminds me of him who was around butchering people. He looks like him close up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'll go along with that, mate. I'll go along with that.
Right then, Jerry, let's talk boxing.
No worries, mate.
Back up a little bit. A couple of weeks. Gervonta Davis. He done that Frank Martin in 8th round, right? So he's moving on with his career. He's knocking everybody out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to get him in Loma.
That seems to be certainly the story that I'm picking up on the news. Because I guess the other person in the mix would be Shakur Stevenson, but I mean, they need to make that fight like one way or the other. I think. I think Lomachenko's got a really good chance still, obviously, but you've got Davis, kind of obviously the younger guy. Um, he's coming up and basically he's looking to take the division all for himself, really. So, are they going to make that fight? They have to make it. I think they have to make it. They can't. They can't do that to us.
You think because Bob Arum's involved with Loma that he'll not get made because anything that he's involved with, it's just a mess about, isn't it? He drags it out, doesn't he? Like Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather, and there's other fights he's dragged out of it years.
Yeah, and we got that Pacquiao Mayweather. Like I didn't even care at that stage. That's how long they left that. Maybe Bob, before Bob retires, he'll give us a couple of fights at the right time, because Loma's 36, right? So, I know that age doesn't really reflect how good he is still, but if you leave that any later, like, it'll become a joke.
Listen, he done Haney and got robbed, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with that. Couldn't believe that.
Him and Javonta have got to fight.
Definitely.
Do you think Javonta can be as good as Duran was?
Uh, well, I mean, I'll say he can be. Will he be? That's a different story, mate. You know, he needs to be a lot more active, I think, to begin with. Um, you know, these guys don't fight anywhere near as much as the greats used to, you know what I mean? Like look at Duran's record, like um Gervonta's a long way off, I think, getting anything close to that. But he has the potential. I think he has the potential and he has the talent.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I don't think he'll be as good as Duran. I don't think anybody can have a run like Duran did in the 70s, you know, at lightweight.
Yeah,
He just destroyed everybody, didn't he? But
yeah,
I think he's a very special fighter, Devonta Davis. Forget all the hype and the tattoos and all the jewelry and all the clowns that are around him. Because that's all they are, clowns, leeches, woodpeckers.
yeah.
Take all them away from him. I think he's got a really, really high IQ in that ring. I think he's that good.
Do you think he needs to get the activity a little bit more on the active side?
Yeah, he needs to be fighting 4 times a year. None of them are fighting actively, are they?
No, no, not. I mean, not as much as they should do. They're not gonna. We're not gonna have records of 70 odd fights anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think to that Chris Billum Smith, Jerry?
I personally think Chris Smith, he's done well for himself. He's maybe done better for himself than I would have expected, say 4 or 5 fights ago. So I think he's put himself in a good opportunity, where he could maybe take a few easy scalps in cruiserweight, and then put it all on the line for a fight with Opataya. Who else has got belts in cruiser? Ramirez. He could maybe make a fight with Ramirez or something like that. Have a couple matches before putting all on the line with Opataya and then cashing out. I think because he's kind of maybe don't want to seem mean about it, but he's kind of got himself into a much higher position than maybe a lot of people were expecting. But fair play to him. I mean, he comes across like a nice guy, a respectable fella, and I mean, he he comes to fight. You know what I mean? He comes to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, what do you think to that J.O. Patia? You think him and Billum Smith might go it on? Or do you think they'll go for Jack Massive, Billum Smith? Because that's what everybody wants, isn't it? Jack Massive, Billum Smith.
Well, I don't think on the Opataya side, I don't think he'd be sweating over Bill Smith at all. Whether Bill Smith, um, I'd say Bill Smith wouldn't have any issues fighting Massey. You know, in regards to would he take the fight on, but you don't know which direction his managers steering him. Do you know what I mean? They probably realize they don't have long um, at the top. You know what I mean? So they might have to be very strategic in the next couple of fights that they make. That is, if they're looking to have a shot with Upataya. But you know, I don't give Bill Smith um, don't give him a chance of beating Opataya should they meet. Like, so you kind of have to look at that. Like, that'll be Chris Smith's kind of final big payday. So Massey and Bill Smith would be a good fight, though. That'd be an entertaining scrap.
What
You like
about
Massey?
what about Jack Massey versus J.O. Patea?
Another decent fight. I'm going to give Opataya the edge, though. Like, I'm not going to lie. You really like Massey, don't you?
Yeah, I like Jack Massey. I've met him. He's a nice kid.
Oh, really?
Good attitude. He's already won IBO in European and Commonwealth. He only needs British now, and he's got clean sweep. And if he gets another belt, he'll just keep piling them up, won't he?
Well, he's 31, like, so he's at the I guess the peak of
Yeah,
his career. So he needs to start doing it. You know what I mean?
well, that's why he's being swerved, though, isn't it?
Probably. Yeah.
Well, they
Probably.
give Parker loads of trouble, and they're saying he's a Cinderella man, and he needs a world title shot. Well, Iggy Parker, all he could handle, and I don't see Jack Massey's name being mentioned in any groups with certain groups of people, and they say, oh, they should fight, they should fight. Well, I don't see his name being mentioned or thrown about. Why is that?
You're probably right, Russ. And that's unfortunately what happens. Some of these fighters, they get swerved, and then they don't get the opportunities that they probably deserve. You know what I mean? So let's hope that doesn't happen to Jack Massey.
Let's hope
Let's hope
so, eh?
Yep, fingers crossed.
Yeah, because he did well against Parker, and like I say, he just won European and Commonwealth. So why not? Why not Bill Smith? All British affair, Battle of Britain. Come on, let's have it. Ben Shalom, aka Adrian Moe, will get your finger out.
Do you think Bill Smith would take on that fight?
Yeah, I think he would. I think Bill Smith's a man's man. I think if enough money were on the table from Sky, I think he'd get looked after, and they could have it. Could have it in Manchester or Bournemouth, couldn't they?
Good. Do you not think he might be hesitant though to give up his spot with the WBO? Isn't it WBO he's got?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they could sort it. They could make that happen. Jack Massey against Bill Smith. Jack Massey's European champion, Bill Smith's WBO champion. He'd get rid of European and Commonwealth, and he'd go for WBO. They sort that if they wanted to sort it easily.
Well, it'd be one I would want to watch anyway.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. What do you think to that Bam Bam Rodriguez?
Is he fighting at the weekend?
No, he
I totally.
fought June 29th, didn't he, against Estrada? Knocked him out in 7th round.
I mean, he's a hell of a talent, like, and he's becoming a bit of a killer in that division, like. But I didn't see that last fight of his.
He's making people quit, isn't he?
Sure is, mate. It's kind of frightening. The power some of those smaller guys can generate, like, and he's only a young fella now as well, like, so he's got he could make you know quite a good name for himself. He's already obviously impressing people, but he could obviously become a bit of a legend himself. Like you were talking about Davis, could Davis be something like a Duran?
Yeah, what do you think to Shaka Stevenson?
I like Shakur Stevenson. I personally, again, think he's super talented, super talented boxer. Like he's uh, he's someone else I'd like to see against Davis. It's just a question of are we going to get these fights made, or are they going to drag these like super fights out to the point where they don't really matter anymore?
Stevenson
I think
against
he's
Davis is a super fight, isn't it? Shaka Stevenson against Javante Davis, that's a super fight, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I was reading something earlier that because of that whole triangle with Lomachenko, Davis, and Stevenson. I couldn't quite distinguish if they were saying somebody was getting step aside so Loma could fight Davis or what way it was working, but it seemed to kind of be hinting towards that sort of thing. But either way, Russ, I think we need to. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if I seen any of those guys fight each other. We just need to see it. Just need to see it happen.
Yeah, we need to see Javonte Davis in a big test now, don't we? It's got to be Loma or Shaka Stevenson for me. Got to be. It's got to be. It can't be anybody else. Can't be.
Yeah.
Can't be, mate. Yeah. What do you think to the Johnny Fisher then? Bosh.
I get the impression that Johnny Fisher is he's a good he seems like a good fella, right? But I think he's fallen victim to Eddie Hearn's kind of how do I describe this? He's kind of being made out to be a bit of a gimmick fighter, much the way David Allen was, I think. You know, with the whole Bosch thing, and you know how that sort of thing now spreads on social media. And I don't know if the guy's actually aware of that himself. And I feel a bit sorry for him because, you know, he could end up becoming just a punching bag for some top contenders, sort of the way Dave Allen was. I don't think he's an amazing talent, but I mean, I think he's a decent enough domestic level guy. He can punch a bit. He did well to get rid of Alan Babic. But I mean, I don't know if you've seen that 30-second fight, like, but Babic didn't look like he could walk before he even got hit. Looked like something wrong with the guy's, I don't know, it looked like there's something wrong with the guy's legs. But I mean, I think Johnny Fisher, you know, if he's very serious, like he needs to watch, he hasn't painted himself into a corner of becoming, like I was saying, a gimmick kind of character, like a wrestling character almost, because that seems to be what Eddie Hearn's kind of done in the same sort of way that I think he did with Dave Allen, which is really unfortunate because obviously, you know, Dave's a good guy and he does have talent as well, but it's maybe not capitalized on that because just the way his careers went. What do you think, Russ?
I think that Johnny Fisher, if he wins a British title, will have overachieved.
That's fair enough, I think that's fair enough.
There's talk of him fighting Dave Allen.
I mean, maybe a few years ago I would have loved to have seen that, but I don't know about Dave Allen now. Like, I think maybe Dave Allen could end up getting hurt if he doesn't watch himself. A fit Dave Allen, I think a fit Dave Allen beats Johnny Fisher all day long.
Yeah, but that's the Dave Allen from 6 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No,
so
I don't.
saying, we were saying things like that about Mike Tyson, weren't we? When he were fighting Holyfield and that, we were saying, well, Mike Tyson of old and all that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that far away, but he look, if you're hard at game, what a length of time Dave's been hard at game or inactive, and you're not on top of your game when you're out at game, it's over, isn't it? So I don't think he beats Johnny Fisher, Dave, but I hope he gets a payday. That's all it'll be, a payday. And they owe him one anyway, Matchell. Eddie owes him. So let's get Dave Allen a payday.
In that respect, Russ, I agree. But, you know, just as long as he doesn't get hurt or, you know, anything bad happen to him.
But hey, listen, for one night, he might shock everybody. He might go have a blistering camp and he just might surprise a few people because he's unpredictable. You know.
It'd be great.
Yeah, would.
Great. actually, even if it turned into being like a good competitive bout, it'd be, I'd like to see that, like, but I just think Dave needs to be be careful because he doesn't seem to be. He seems to be just kind of like he's dipping his toe in. He's not really, he's fighting a few taxi drivers and stuff like off late, and it doesn't seem to be that serious. Like, but if he was to get down and totally take it seriously and have a good ding dong with Fisher, that would be great. I'm skeptical about if that would happen.
I'm fine in sports.
Yeah, I think that Dave Allen, if he gets in shape, right, if he gets in shape, can surprise a few people if he fights Johnny Fisher. If he gets in shape, and he's going to have to be in fantastic shape and be able to go 10 rounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's going to have a lot of cardio. You're going to have to get some weight off, get some cardio. It's no working on technique and all that. That's by the by now, because it's not going to be a technician fight, Johnny Fisher against White Rhino, is it? So all he needs to concentrate on really is being superhuman fit, where he can get up every morning and run 6 hard miles at an hard, fast pace and complete it, and still feel like you can go to 2 more sessions in a day, a strength and condition session, and then sparring at night or something, or whatever, every day for 10 solid weeks, 70 days solid. Can you do that? Because that's the life you've got to live if you want to be that man. If you can't do that, you're not that person. And a lot of boxers, and especially them who are listening to this, should ask yourselves, am I doing them 3 sessions a day? Hard run, and I mean hard run, not going through motions, trotting, but about an hard run, get them lungs bursting out. You know what I mean? 6 mile. You want to be doing that in 36 minutes, no longer. So your lungs are screaming, because that's what you'll be like in that fight for 36 minutes. There'll be times where your lungs are screaming and you need to be ready, don't they, them lungs?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, Jerry? It's not rocket science, is it? Being a boxer, you've got to be everything, haven't you? You've got to be an athlete, for runs. You've got to be a fighter for when you're sparring. You've got a lot of core strength work and that. You've got to be everything. And somebody's hitting you as well, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to be a jack of all trades, haven't you? Hardest thing it will. And concentration goes. Just as your concentration comes back, you get punched again.
Yeah, exactly. Bit of a distraction.
So you can have all that fitness, and then it doesn't matter once you get your top button. See what I mean?
Absolutely.
You've got to give yourself that opportunity. And are a lot of boxers nowadays training like that? Look at these world champions, the training regimes. That's why they're world champions.
Yeah.
Usyk's training regime. Gee, do you see it?
He's a madman. He's a Terminator. He's like a Terminator.
120 kilometers cycle for a session and a 5-mile swim. What's all that about? The man's He-Man. Usyk is not a man. He is a He-Man. I'm telling you now, honestly. Are a lot doing that and then going and sitting in a fish pond because they haven't got an ice bath like up here at Sheffield? Them ice baths didn't help Joshua when he got in there with Usyk, did they?
Sure didn't.
And all them wires they put on him and all that, and them fancy drinks they give him. You know what I mean? It didn't help
It was
Usyk.
like,
Hey, is it help
it
Joshua? You are.
was like Rocky IV, mate.
Yeah,
You've
Rocky
got the
Training Mountains.
yeah.
I know. Joshua against Jabbar. Tell me what you think, Jerry.
I know you've changed your mind. You think Dubois is going to do it.
I think
I'm going to
Jabbar's going to put him on button mode. He's acting all strange, Joshua. He went all roadman, didn't he, at that face-off?
Yeah. I think that's his new look, though. Now, I think he thinks he can be. He's shed the He shed the nice guy, be humble. I think he thinks genuinely. He's this roadman, not like you're describing. So he's tough guy, Joshua. Now I think that's who we've got now. So yeah, he's going down that character route now. Dubois is just oblivious to everything because I mean I don't know the fella and I'm sure he's not thick like, but he just comes across a bit um uh he's led by the hand, shall we say, by his handlers. So you know he's told what to say. He's a bit goofy, I suppose. That's the way I would describe him. Um, I see what you're saying, but I'm going to go just. I think Joshua's probably got the experience to survive it, but I'm not saying that Dubois doesn't have. I mean, if Dubois knocks out Joshua, I'll not be surprised because we all know Ruiz was able to do it. So Daniel Dubois definitely can. I'm just personally going to choose Joshua on this one. I think his experience might get him the victory on this one. Maybe by late stoppage. That's what I'm going for on that one.
Yeah. You're going to go
Just
Joshua. Jerry,
yes, mate.
you're going to go for Joshua on that one, are you? Yeah.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
What if Joshua loses? What next for him if he gets beat? Is the Fury fight further away than ever then?
I don't know. Because, well, I suppose we don't know. I don't think Fury's going to fight. I don't think Fury's going to fight Usyk. Definitely, I'm very, very skeptical about that. Don't think that's going to happen. So why not? If AJ loses, why not put him in against Fury then, who has lost to Usyk as well?
You know, when you look at Joshua's belts that he's won,
Yeah,
right? They've been gifted him, haven't they? Charlie Martin won with a gift, wasn't it?
yeah,
That was Fury's belt, wasn't it? Right.
100%.
Then we had Dominic Brazil, didn't we?
Yep.
Eric Molina. All handpicked. Oh, these are all handpicked. These. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The list just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's become boring. The point I want to make is all these belts were all Fury's belts that first lot, weren't they? Really? He never beat Vladimir, did he? He beat Vladimir 18 months after Fury, and Vladimir had been sat on couch 18 months. So he didn't beat Vladimir for all that lot from that era, and what he did get, Usyk took off him. So, and now he's ended up with one of them belts. So really, I think he's a fraud, me, Joshua. All this world champion knackers, and he were lucky at Olympics. We all know that, don't they? Don't we? Everybody Cuban beat him, as well as that kid in final. Everybody said the Cuban beat him, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
You know, he's had a lot of luck. Yeah, he's got a great story and all that. But at the end of the day, he's a thug and a bully, and I don't like him. That's how I look at it. At least I'm honest. Do you know what I mean? He's a fraud, man. Every belt he's got there is fraudulently got. He's a paper champ. And this, they've given belt to the bar and said he's the world champion now at the IBF. He's a paper champ as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. People getting belts via email. What next? Do you want to go on to part 2, Jerry?
Yeah, no bother, Ross. I'll see you over there, mate.
Right. Yeah, thanks for liking or subscribing and leaving a comment. If you like something a bit different, we've got our sister channel. Our sister channel is Pokers International. YouTube. All right. So anyway, over to part 2 with Jerry. Women love him. Men want to be him. It can only be that mullet. Go on, Jezza.